Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right, before I go any further, a quick shout out to Lee. Morning, Lee. Every single week, without fail, on a Friday, usually just before we're about to knock off, I'll see him in the warehouse and he will shout at me, 4 o'clock tomorrow? Yeah, 4 o'clock tomorrow, Lee. Be there or be square. So I thought I'd say good morning. Morning, Lee. Right, I hope you've all had a brilliant week. I'll do this very quickly before I actually lose this because it's so small. I'm going to put it down and lose it like I did last night. Do you remember last week I was reading sort of an entry out of my little diary that I've had basically since I was 13. And I happened to mention that I think the entry was something to do with an ink pad and some war books that had gone missing from the library, and we'd all been summoned to the deputy head's office to tell him what we knew. And I'm fairly sure that it would have caused everybody a lot of amusement to find out that I used to be a librarian at school because I was a really good boy. And just to prove it, this is my, just bear with me, my librarian badge from, it would have been about 1976, 77. That is what I wore on my school blazer every day, proudly. There wasn't a week go by where somebody didn't take the piss or whatever, but that is it. That is my librarian badge, just to prove that I was a librarian in the 70s, which I'm sure you'll be thinking that's nothing to be fucking proud of, but there you go. So, right, where to start? You may notice that Mark will be missing from the comments this week anyway. There's a reason for that. He's actually out on the lash as of this, I think yesterday, I think it was. He sent me a message on Messenger, I think it was last night or Friday. Hi mate, just wanted to let you know that I'm up and about at 8:30 a.m. on the piss tomorrow and will probably be off my tits by lunchtime. So I won't have a chance to watch the video till Sunday, so I won't be able to make any comments. 8:30 a.m, bloody hell, braver man than me. But just wanted to give you my unwavering love and support to you beforehand. Thank you, Mark, much appreciated. Not necessary, by the way, to explain that you won't be able to make comments, and this goes for all of you. If you don't get a chance to watch the video, or if you miss one, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So don't panic about not being able to or find the time to make comments and all that sort of thing. Let's see. By the way, if I ever see you in public, God help you, because I will go full fanboy on you and ask for your autograph. To which I told him that I am literally just a bog cleaner in a warehouse. That's all I am, even though I was really flattered by that. And he said, very kindly, I get that, mate, but what you don't understand is that even though I haven't seen you in person for 12 plus years, we used to work, well, not work together, we worked in the same warehouse, but we knew each other, is that you're one of the most stand-up guys that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, 100% real. I know you always say you feel awkward about meeting people, but I would love to one day have a group meet-up. Me, you, Guy, Jason and Chris. Much appreciated, mate. That's a lovely thing to say, and I do appreciate it. As for the meet, let me come back to that in just a second. And yeah, I won't be feeling very pretty this time tomorrow, but what can I say? I love the Guinness and kebabs. This time tomorrow, mate, I'll be passed out and dribbling. I'm a Newcastle United fan. I'm on an away day to Bournemouth tomorrow. Beers on the train at 8:30. Bloody hell. The meet. I never say never, and I'm not going to say it now. It's not something I'd be up to just yet, but I'm hoping to sort of hone my social skills a bit, because I've got very few, believe it or not. I'm okay when I'm at work because I see these people every day, and I'm okay talking to you guys on here. But if I were to meet in a pub, I'm not really sure what I would say. Do you know what? I'm sure it will be absolutely fine. I don't think there would really be any major issues. In fact, I'm sure there wouldn't be, because all you guys, I've known you for years, all of you. So I don't see any reason why not. I mean, it's not likely to happen just yet. But yeah, I never say never, and it would be a nice thing to do sometime, I'm sure. Let's put that one on the back burner. Take a rain check, and we'll come back to that one. But I'm definitely not going to say never. Absolutely not. I wouldn't, not to you guys. So thanks for that, Mark. Much appreciated. At least we know where you all are. You were saying that you won't be feeling very pretty today, and I'm fairly sure you won't be. Obviously, it reminded me of West Side Story, which I posted the other night. The song Maria sings is I feel pretty, I feel pretty, fucking pretty. I can see you doing that. I can really see you walking down. Was it Bournemouth you went to? Can't remember. Bournemouth, yeah. Walking down Bournemouth High Street screaming that one out. I have to say, I don't envy Zoe today. It'll be all sick buckets and cups of tea, I'm sure of it. So, I hope you had a brilliant time yesterday. What you can remember of it, and we'll no doubt be hearing from you. As I say, pop your comment on when you've watched the vid, and I'll include it in next week's, obviously, because I've done that for Callie a few times. But as I say, it really doesn't matter if you don't get a chance to comment. So do not worry about that. That goes for all of you. So right, I'll start with comments on last week's video. Start with David Mansell, as we always do. Morning, Dave. I hate all these remakes that Hollywood are bringing out. I wouldn't say I hate them. I think we're kind of stuck with them. The problem is that if a movie is made now, even an original movie, if it does well and it brings the money in, they will want to do a sequel or a prequel or a remake at some point. So unfortunately, Dave, I think it's a fact of life. I think we're really stuck with it. Hollywood seems to be quite afraid of coming up with anything original nowadays, and funding anything that's not been done before. But who knows? It may all change. But I know for a fact that there are hundreds of remakes, reboots, sequels, prequels in the pipeline at the moment, all being made. So we're not likely to see the last of them just yet, so I'm afraid we're kind of stuck with it. Great to hear from you, Dave, anyway. Always good to hear from you. Dave Taylor, the other Dave, my old cohort from work. Hi, Tony. Just watched this week's vid. Thanks for the shout out. You're more than welcome, Dave. Plenty to comment on this week. Planet of the Apes. Loved the original. The sequels, I don't know how many there were. I think it was 4, Dave. I think it was Escape, Beneath, Battle, and there was another one that I can't remember, but I'm fairly sure there were 5 in the original series. I'm fairly sure of it. They didn't really do anything for me. It goes back to what David was just saying. It's sequels, isn't it? Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I enjoyed all 5 of them. I do remember one of them being exceedingly dark and quite nasty for a 70s movie, and for something that was supposed to be what you would class as sort of family entertainment. But I did enjoy them all, but I can definitely see why you wouldn't like the sequels, because obviously they were nowhere near as good as the original. It was just superb. So yeah, I kind of get that. The Godfather, not a massive fan, I must say. Only seen the 2 follow-ups a couple of times. Blimey, you've done well there. I think Godfather 2 is approaching 4 hours, and I think Godfather 3, I believe, is another 3 hours. So you've done well if you've seen them a couple of times. Scarface, only seen that about 3 times. Another long film that you've seen quite a few times. Don't really remember too much about it. Probably not seen it for about 30 years, so might take a look again. I haven't seen it for a long time. I do remember enjoying it. It's a classic movie. I think Mark, we're back to Mark again here. I don't think he enjoyed it at all, or was it Jason? I can't remember. One of them basically said that Scarface is just crap. So I'm fairly sure it was Mark. I did enjoy it, and I am due for a rewatch of it. If it comes out on 4K, it might even be out on 4K. I will probably grab a copy of it and have another look, because I get the feeling it would probably be a keeper. As opposed to a binner. So Yeah, Scarface. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for that, Dave. Much appreciated. Scott, morning, Scott. Excellent video as always, Tony. Thanks for that, mate. Yes, Message in a Bottle is a classic and it needed the Scott karaoke version, mate. Needed, Scott? I think not. That is one of my favourite songs of all time. I bought that single way back in, I think, 1979, and it was never off the turntable. I drove my mum absolutely crazy with it. She hated it. She probably liked it to start with, but she hated it by the time I'd finished with it. Um, Loving these karaoke's. Scott, you must keep them going. Um, some of them are just hysterical, and some of them are, I just sit there thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, Scott, seriously. Grateful, mate, absolutely grateful. And I think you've cornered the market on that one, so keep them coming. Um, let's see, And Soon the Darkness is a really solid film. I loved it, absolutely loved it. I've loved it since the first time I saw it in the 70s. Um, I can still watch it now and still get a kick out of it. I did really enjoy that one. I didn't see the ending coming either, to be honest. I didn't the first time I saw it. Obviously, I know what the ending is now because I've seen it many, many times. But yeah, first time watch, you would not see that coming at all. Top film. Also, congratulations on reaching 150 subscribers. It's very well deserved, mate. Thanks, Scott. Much appreciated. I didn't even notice. I think it was Jason K, our Ginger Ninja. I think he pointed it out to me. Um, I don't tend to look at it, and I just don't. As I said before, I've got my dedicated audience on here. I've got people who watch my videos every week and comment on them. That is really, really all I need. So if it does continue to creep up slowly, so be it. But I'm happy with what I've got, as I've always said. So thanks for that, Scott. Much appreciated. And as I say, keep those karaoke's coming, even though they do make me want to sew your lips together. I'm only joking. Keep them coming, mate. Right, Stuart. Morning, Stu. I've recently uploaded my favourite prison movies. What's some of your favourites, mate? I shall tell you in just a minute. Some of the titles you put on there. Papillon, the original, obviously, Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. Brutal film. I do remember the bit where they crushed his foot with a rock, which I thought was absolutely horrible. But the movie itself, I wouldn't mind taking another look at. The Count of Monte Cristo, never seen it, but I know of your love for Richard Chamberlain, so I probably will give that a go at some point. The Green Mile, long film, an absolute masterpiece. I've not seen it since it first came out. The Great Escape, seen it hundreds of times. My dad loved it every time it was on, and it was usually Christmas or bank holiday. He would watch it, no matter how many times he'd seen it, he would still watch it, and I used to watch it with him. Loved it. The Man in the Iron Mask, not seen it, not familiar with that one. Cool Hand Luke. This is one that I've meant to watch for a long time. This is Paul Newman and George Kennedy, I think. This is one I've meant to look at for a long time, so I'm going to stick that one on my watch list and sort of budget up to near the top because I've heard a lot about that. Midnight Express, shocker, total shocker. Birdman of Alcatraz, another one I've never seen, but I know it's a classic. And I know it's one that I need to watch. Escape from Alcatraz. Got that one on a Blu-ray box set, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. Shawshank Redemption, total masterpiece. Only seen it probably once, possibly twice. But I do need to catch up with again. You did some honourable mentions. Lock Up. I think I've seen part of it. Is this Donald Sutherland as the? I think you mentioned this. Donald Sutherland as the governor. Stallone film, isn't it? It's one that I wouldn't mind watching. I've heard good things about it. Scum and Chicken Run. It's the first time I've heard Scum and Chicken Run used in the same sentence. You couldn't get any more polar opposites than Scum and Chicken Run. Scum I've seen many times. It was truly shocking back in 1979 when it first came out. I remember watching that in the picture, in the cinema. I think it was on a double bill with Quadrophenia. I'm fairly sure it was. And I came out of the cinema very shaken by that one. It was a nasty, horrible piece of work. God knows why I've seen it so many times. But I do tend to watch it once every couple of years. there must be some kind of a sadist at heart, I don't know, but it's an awful film. Um, let's see. I mean, maybe they could put Scum and Chicken Run on a double bill. Maybe that will be one of my double bills one week. I don't think so. And you also put, yeah, I'm not a gamer at all, but Silent Hill is decent. This is another one that I need to take in. I'll add it to my watch list and take a look at it. Everybody's pretty much said the same thing, that you don't have to have seen or have to have played the game to understand or enjoy the film. So I will be taking a look at that. Mamma Mia 2, no. That's all he's put, no, with loads of O's. No. So yeah, we'll leave Mamma Mia 2, I think. My favourite prison films. I've probably got more than this, but these are the two that instantly sprang to mind. McVicker. Roger Daltrey plays John McVicker, who was a violent bank robber back in the 70s. This was basically made by the same crew that did Quadrophenia, so it's quite a raw film. If you've not seen it still, I would highly, highly recommend it. I need to take this out of the cellophane and take a look, actually, because this is it cost me about 23 quid, this Blu-ray. It was quite expensive. There's not much in the way of special features on it, as I can see. Oh, hang on though. One of the special features is 58 minutes, so it must be some kind of a documentary. So I'll have to take a look at that. But I thought this was great. Really, really enjoyed it. I know Jason's a fan of this one. Haven't seen it for quite a while. I do need to take another look at that one. And the other one is the aforementioned Midnight Express. I went to see... No, I didn't go to see this at the Pictures. I think I was just too young. I think it was 1978 it came out, so I'd have been 16. Was it 62? No, 17. Basically I looked way too young. I couldn't bluff it like a lot of my classmates and schoolmates could. Some of them were getting into X certificate films from the age of about bloody 15. I couldn't do it because I looked too much of a kid. But I did watch this on VHS when it was released a couple of years later, and this is another film that visibly shook me. I'd seen prison films before, but nothing quite like this. It basically put me off going anywhere near Turkey ever, and I've never been, and I wouldn't. I'm sure it's not like that now, but just the thought of getting caught up in anything like this was a horrible experience. As far as films go, but it is a total masterpiece. The soundtrack is excellent. Brad Davis as Billy Hayes is superb. Did you know, by the way, there is a series on one of the documentary channels on satellite called Greatest Prison Escapes, and it's hosted by, guess what, Billy Hayes. Can't think of anybody better to do it. I've not watched any of them yet. I'm hoping to bump into an episode when I'm channel hopping one night, and I will have a look at it. But as far as I'm concerned, nothing can come close to the reality that this showed. It was really, really good, but just as brutal as hell. It was as raw as anything I'd ever seen to do with prisons. I think the only one that came close to it was probably Papillon, and Papillon was nowhere near as nasty as this was, but an absolute classic and well deserved of its 18 certificate. So they are two of my favourite prison films, the only two that I could find on the shelf this morning. So I hope that answers your question, Stuart. Great to hear from you. Thanks again. Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. Morning, Steve. I found a new respect for The Godfather when I saw the Paramount series, The Offer. That is the series I was trying to remember last week or the week before. I couldn't remember the name of it. You've kindly reminded me there, so I will be taking a look at that. What torture Coppola went through to get it made. There were so many points it came close to not happening. It's a real history lesson with a great cast. This is one I definitely need to watch. I'm a huge fan of the Godfather movies, especially the original. Heaven forbid they should try to remake it. But I would love to see that series. Now I've got Paramount Plus, I will be taking a look at that. So thanks for reminding me of that one, Steve. When the Wind Blows is such a well done film, and has a theme song by David Bowie and a score by Roger Waters. I've seen it a few times. I think the last time I saw it was on, blimey, it would have been VHS. So that shows how long ago that was. I just remember really enjoying it, but having a real sense of sadness at the end. Um, for anybody that looks at the sleeve and thinks it's some sort of light-hearted cartoon, even though it was done by Raymond Briggs, anything couldn't be further from the truth. It's a cracking movie, absolutely superb, brilliantly animated, brilliantly acted. I think it's Peggy Ashcroft and Sir John Mills voicing the old couple. I'm fairly sure of it. Um, but it's a lovely film. It really is. It's just a bit depressing at the end. But thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Rick, morning, Rick. You're right about Live and Let Die. Frightened the life out of me as a kid. The scarecrows and Baron Samedi were nightmare fuel, wasn't there? I still love it now. It's probably one of my favourite Bonds. My all-time favourite Bond is, and it's an unpopular choice, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's the only one that George Lazenby did. Absolutely adored it. I've seen it hundreds of times and will no doubt watch it again very, very shortly. So yeah, I love that one. Let's see. Remakes are a thumbs up for me. They might not trump the original, but they can still be entertaining. Um, I agree with you. My views on remakes are changing. Um, I think if you can go into it with lowish expectations and not think too much about the original, you're going to be okay with a lot of them. Um, Whereas, not too long back, as soon as I'd see a remake of a classic film, to be like, no, no, can't do that, can't do that. But not so much now, so I do kind of get that. Let's see, Evil Dead remake beat the original for me. Evil Dead remake beat the original for me, as did It, Scarface, and Cabin Fever. I don't know. I found the Evil Dead remake a bit too gnarly for my taste. I know you would like it, and I'm fairly sure Callie would like it. Anybody that likes their horror, sort of really sort of bloody and nasty, would enjoy that remake. It didn't do an awful lot for me. But I did enjoy the original, even though there are bits in it now that I still struggle with. The pencil in the ankle, case in point. Um, it certainly had higher production values than the original, but it would have. I think Evil Dead was Sam Raimi's first film, so I would imagine they'd have been very careful about how much money they threw at it, not realising what a phenomenon it would actually turn into. Um, but the remake was good. I've watched it once. Not sure I'd watch it again, but I'd certainly watch the original again. What else did it? Not seen it yet. I've seen obviously the 90s two-part miniseries, which I absolutely adore, always have done. Not seen the movie versions yet. I am coming to the last few chapters of the book, which I'm listening to on Audible. So as soon as I finish that, I'll be tearing straight into the movie versions, just to see how they compare. Scarface. I've not seen the original. This is Edward G. Robinson. This is an old film. You're going back to the 30s or 40s. One of those classic Humphrey Bogart sort of style movies. Who else was doing them? James Cagney, that kind of thing. So I would love the original, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the remake. Completely different animal, based on the same idea, but totally different. What was the other one? Cabin Fever. Didn't know they'd remake Cabin Fever. I'm not even sure which version I've seen. There's a version that keeps turning up on, I think it's Legend. It used to be the Horror Channel. It was always on there. And I'm fairly sure it's been on there recently, but I'm not sure which version, as I didn't even know there was a remake of it. So you got me on that one. Let's see. Great vid as always, mate. Thanks, Rick. Much appreciated. I've got a double feature. I do a little double bill feature every week. Basically, where I mention a film and then tell you what movie I would send it out into the cinemas with had I got the choice to do that and create a double bill. I was going to do it later on, but I tell you what, seeing as I've got your attention, I'll do it now. I watched Clerks for the second time probably a few weeks ago. Really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I did the first time round. This is the Kevin Smith movie set mostly around a convenience store which had a video library next door. I thought it was really good. The movie that I would send out, or send that out on a double bill with, is one you might recognise, Rick. One Night Rental. I thought this was very much in spirit with Clerks. It reminded me a lot of Clerks when I watched it. It had the same sort of streak of humour running right the way through the middle of it. It's a low budget movie, the way that Clerks was when Kevin Smith first made it. I thought this was excellent, really, really good, thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to give this a second view anytime now. So this week's double bill, I thought I'd get this out of the way actually while I was reading your comments out. This week's double bill would be Clerks and One Night Rental, which I don't think you would go too far wrong with. Two very, very similar movies. So thanks for your comments, Rick. Much appreciated, mate. Always good to hear from you. Jason K. Ginger Ninja. Morning, Jay. Good day, Tony. Good day, mate. Good day. Jim. Hardly know him. Ha ha. We were talking about gymnasiums last week, weren't we? I go to the gym every day. I love it. My previous gym was much better, as there was a better feel and vibe, and the people there were much nicer. For me, it's a mental thing. It gets me focused, clears my head, but that's me. It did me. I enjoyed the time that I spent there. It was just the company that I had to keep while being in there that did it for me. And I thought, you know what, it just wasn't for me. And as much as people will still say to me now, when I'm on about losing weight and this, join a gym. No, been down that road. It doesn't work for me. It really, really doesn't. Yes, I get that you would be more focused in there because you are thinking about nothing but that. But I don't know whether it's an age thing. I tend to go for the slightly more sedate forms of exercise, if there is such a thing, sort of walking, running, that kind of thing. I can't do weights. It's just not me. But I totally get why you enjoy it, Jay. Anyway, on to the vids. So much going on that I feel I missed a lot of it. But Willy's Wonderland, top film, lot of fun. Definitely going to be taking that one in. It's on the watch list. Got it on Blu-ray. So yes, I will be taking a look at that. Threads was one I never actually saw, but I heard it was good. The one that I grew up with was The Day After, which was, at least for me, freaking horrifying. Threads is an amazing piece of television, Jay. If you get a chance to watch it, I would highly recommend it. It's a very similar thing to The Day After, but a lot more shocking and a lot more visceral than that was. The Day After, I do remember it. I remember it being all over the papers, that this horrifying film was coming to the coming to the UK, and it was not in cinemas. It was actually going to be on television, and it was to do with the effects of a nuclear war, and it terrified the nation, but not on the level that Threads did. If you get a chance, please take a look, because I would love to see what you think of Threads. It was basically the same as The Day After. It was just the effect of a nuclear strike near a major city. It was just shocking as hell, and it stunned the country. It really, really did. And obviously it came out at a time when the threat of nuclear war, which was the 80s, it was forever on your mind. It was all over the news. There were documentaries about it. You couldn't get away from it. So it touched a nerve, and a real raw one as well. So yeah, if you get the chance to watch it, mate, I would very much love to hear a little review of Threads if you get a chance to take it in. While the sun is leaving over there, we are getting it. Thanks for that. Great vid, and have a cracking week. Cheers, Jay. Always brilliant to hear from you as usual. I'm starting to catch up on your videos. I watched your review of Nightmare Sisters. Not sure you've sold me on that one, but I've got a copy of it. So I will be taking a look at some point. And also Hellraiser 3. I'm finally starting to plough through those. That is one I definitely want to see. I'm thinking of investing in the first 3 movies on Blu-ray. I believe Arrow have got some absolutely awesome special features on their sort of versions of that one. So I probably will be taking in or grabbing copies of the first 3, maybe even the first 4. I'll see what you got to say about the 4th one before I commit to that one. So, right, coming up to 30 minutes, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in a second. And we're back. Right, before I go any further, I didn't notice until I played back the first part of the video that I've just done that I've cut myself shaving again, just there. I sort of, oh bollocks. And we're back. Right, I've just noticed watching the playback of part one while I was transferring. Fuck. And we're back. Shit. And we're back. Right, I've just noticed. Bloody hell! And we're back. Right, I've just noticed watching the playback of part one of the video that I've cut myself shaving again. Right there. Just in case you're wondering what that is. I did it the other week. I cut my ear, and Guy pointed it out to me, so I thought I'd beat him to the punch with that one. So I shouldn't be allowed anywhere near razors. So right, on with the comments. Sam, morning Sam. First of all, thanks for following me on Letterboxd. I got the notification through, I think it was yesterday. I really do need to do a bit more on Letterboxd. I've got to get used to watching a movie and literally doing a quick few words on Letterboxd the second I finish watching it, which is something that I've not been doing, and I should be doing that. So anyway, I appreciate you following me on that one, mate. I've got quite a few comments from Sam because bless him, he's been catching up on previous videos. So let's see. We'll start with the comments from August the 10th. Hi Tony, fantastic video, mate. Thanks, Sam. And thanks so much for the kind words and shout out. You're more than welcome. So pleased to hear you enjoyed the Yorkshire Day video I put out start of the month. Really did enjoy it. As I said before, it was like a love letter to your home county. And it was just lovely. Just lots of videos and vinyl and books, all to do with Yorkshire. It was just brilliant. Let's see. I got the 4K Criterion edition of Time Bandits. I'm yet to watch it. It's a cracking movie. I think Mark was going to make it one of his never seen movies, and then he had a look at the trailer and thought, oh, bollocks to that. So I hope it will hit home a little better with you. I like it. I enjoyed it. It's a typical Terry Gilliam film. It's got flashes of Python in there. You've got some good stars in there as well. You've got John Cleese, Sean Connery, Shelley Duvall, and a host of little midgets. It's just good fun. It really is good fun, and I'm fairly sure that you will enjoy it. You are doing such a top job with this double bill trend, with some excellent picks here, mate. I should pick up the film you recommended, Fright, which is currently in a 2 for £15 offer. Thanks for that, Sam, much appreciated. I'm obviously from the era when double bills were a thing. In the 70s and 80s, you always got them, always. And they were just really good value for money. You'd go into the cinema about 6 o'clock and you'd be lucky if you got out of there before 10 o'clock. So you got two good movies. It was just superb. And the idea of me sort of picking a movie and then picking another one that I would send it out onto the double bill circuit with is just great. I'm really enjoying it. So thanks. I'm glad you appreciate that. And Fright, definitely worth it. Pick that one up. So that was August 10th. August 17th, we're catching up now. Hey Tone, fantastic video as ever, mate. I really need to get onto those DVDs. Heard they're meant to be the definitive documentaries on the subject of video nasties. Loving the books there, mate. Never knew those books existed regarding the nasties. Neither did I. When I first bought them, I just put a search in for video nasties, and a lot of sort of movies came up, and in amongst all these movies were these books, and I thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind those. I love books to do with censorship, the BBFC, all that sort of thing. Absolutely love it. I find the whole subject completely fascinating. So any new book that I see on sort of video nasties and censorship and all that. I just grab it, whether it's got good reviews or not. So it's just a subject I find really, really interesting. Let's see, love the Funhouse as well, Tone. There's a couple of other Toby Hooper movies I need to check out. Salem's Lot being one of them. The Funhouse is great. That, I believe, I saw on a double bill, believe it or not, with My Bloody Valentine. You used to get a lot of slasher double bills back then, and they were so worth it. I remember going to see Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2 on a double bill. Bloody brilliant. So the Funhouse is great fun. Salem's Lot, I've said this before, I remember seeing that. I was still at school. This would have been 1977. Watched it because David Soul was in it, and I was a great fan of David Soul thanks to Starsky and Hutch. I also knew it was based on a Stephen King story, so I thought, oh, this will be reasonable. And we'd never seen anything quite like it. It was classed as a TV movie. It was in two parts, two 90-minute parts, on BBC One, about 9:30 I think it was on. And I don't think anybody was ready for how terrifying that thing was. So many jump scares, so many scary scenes. The sequence with the kid scratching down the window pane, oh my God, floating outside, oh wow. It was just unbelievable. It was literally the talk of school the next day. Did anybody see Salem's Lot? Everybody had watched it and basically gone to bed and had the worst nightmares ever thanks to that one. Now, obviously, I wasn't familiar with the director back then, but in later years, when I realised it was Toby Hooper, I thought, oh my God, the guy that did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course it's going to be brutal and nasty and frightening. We just didn't realise the effect it would actually have. But I love it to this day. I've not seen it for a while, but I have got it on, I think it's DVD upstairs. I don't think I've got that one on Blu-ray. So I will be taking a look at it anytime, sort of fairly soon. I haven't seen it for a while, so yes, I do want to take that in. But if you've not seen it, it is absolutely brilliant. Superb piece of television, so grab a copy of that one, Sam, by all means. I'm excited to see Zombie Flesh Eaters on the big screen, part of the Tyneside Halloween all-nighter on the 26th of October. Zombie Flesh Eaters on the big screen, bloody hell. Cracking movie, apart from the only bit I couldn't stomach was the splinter in the eyeball. That was just... It's one of those moments that you see it coming, but you don't think it's actually going to happen, and then it does, and it's like, oh my God, they've actually gone there. Christ almighty. Can I watch it now? I don't know, because I haven't seen it for a while, but I did pick a Blu-ray copy up probably about a year ago. So whether I could actually watch that now, I don't know. I can feel a chill going up my spine now just thinking about the eyeball. But the rest of the movie, absolutely superb. Soundtrack was excellent. That's going to look awesome on the big screen. I believe it was made in 2.35 aspect ratio, so it's going to look great on widescreen. It really is. So I envy you there. Naked Lunch is a solid Cronenberg film. Wouldn't mind checking out the original novel from William S. Burroughs, which I believe is equally as weird. So be prepared for that. I think Scanners may be my favourite Cronenberg film. Again, saw that at the cinema, 1981. There was a lot of publicity surrounding it, basically saying that you will not believe what happens in the first 10 minutes. And again, did not see it coming. And again, I don't think we'd seen anything like that on the screen at the time. Now exploding heads are two a penny. You get them in every film, but back then it was a new thing. I love Scanners. I also love Rabid. I love Shivers. I enjoy The Fly, apart from the arm break. David Cronenberg's done some very, very strange films. One I want to see. It's not horror. I think he did one called Crash, which I wouldn't mind the look at, because I've heard a lot of reports on that being extremely controversial. I did enjoy Videodrome. That was a good one with James Woods and Debbie Harry, of all people. So yeah, I would call myself a Cronenberg fan. Not a huge fan of the body horror genre generally. I can't normally watch stuff like that. I'm not very good with things like that. But the earlier Cronenberg ones I can just about cope with. The Brood, that was amazing. If you've not seen The Brood, I would highly recommend The Brood. Thanks for the kind words about my Arrow collection video, Tone. Had such a great time showcasing my Arrow Blu-ray collection. Same can be said with my Criterions as well. Looking forward to watching the Criterion collection and also catching up with the first 4 instalments of the Arrow collection, because that was in about 5 parts if I remember right. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you've got on Criterion. Also, thanks for the kind words about my social media break video, Tone. Much appreciated, bud. Taking that month's break really did me the world of good, and it was just nice to watch a film in its entirety without scrolling back and forth on my phone. I'm reading more, also listening to more records without being distracted by the phone. Learnt a lot from that month's break, as I think we all would if we decided to do it. I don't really do the whole social media side, as in the friends side of it, so I probably don't need to take a break, but I know a lot of people do. You've done it, I think Scott's done it, Chris has just basically come back off a sort of a month or two's break from it, so I do get it. You can only read so much sort of poison and bile before you think, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I do actually get it. And just reading this now. I was just going to say, interesting you calling them records. A lot of people seem to call them vinyl nowadays. And I saw a post on Facebook the other day where somebody had actually put up in a record shop, they'd got a big record in an envelope and basically said, this is not vinyl, this is a record. That's what we used to call them years ago. Vinyl was just what they were made of. So yeah, that's interesting. You should say that. I'm with you as well, Tom. Star Trek: The Motion Picture is a very good way to kickstart the Star Trek film series. I had a very good time with it. I've been working my way through the Star Trek film series. Just watched First Contact earlier in the week and very much enjoyed it. Off to see both Batman Forever and Batman and Robin next month as part of a Batman season. Have a soft spot for both of those movies. Batman Forever is a ton of fun. Never got beyond Batman Returns in that particular sort of series. I think that was the last one I saw, so I do need to catch up with all of those. And as for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I love it the same way as you did. Are you paying attention, Dave and Guy? And probably Callie as well, because I think she said she thought it was boring as well. Horses for courses, you know what I mean. Keep up the amazing work as always, Tony. Thanks for the wonderful support on the channel, and again for the kind words. You're very welcome, mate. Right, we're on to this week's video. We've caught up now. Let's see. Hello, Tone. Hope you're doing well. Loving the Saturday videos, and as ever, man, thanks for the wonderful shout outs and awesome support. Keep up the awesome work as ever, bud. I certainly intend to. I picked up the film Fright on your wonderful recommendation. It was included in a 2 for £15 deal alongside Mysterious Island, which is one of Ray Harryhausen's works. What are your thoughts on Ray Harryhausen? Have you got a favourite film he did? I have. Ray Harryhausen. I grew up with him. Well, not literally, but I grew up with his movies. I remember the very first time I saw a particular one and thought, what the hell is that? I only caught sort of the last 15 minutes of it, but wanted to see it. This was in the days before VHS, before you could record things. I just didn't know what it was. I had to wait basically for it to come on again, and hope for the best that it was that movie. But I love Ray Harryhausen's films, always have done. I had a job picking one, so I picked 3. First one is The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Absolutely adore this, love it. Made in 1973. It had got a brilliant bad guy in Tom Baker a year before he took up the mantle of Doctor Who. The special effects, the monsters were absolutely awesome. My favourite by far was Kali, the 6-armed goddess, and the part where the swords come out of the hand one by one was just one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. I love this. Seen it many times. It was also released on a double bill, back to double bills again, with this one, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. These two pretty much turned up every summer holiday. Pretty much every summer holiday, without a doubt, these would turn up. This one I didn't like as much as the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, but I still love it. I still watch it. Believe this is the one Patrick Troughton is in. I'm fairly sure of it. Is it Patrick Troughton? Yes, and Jane Seymour. So again, great monsters. Loved the giant hornet and those skeleton things near the beginning. Superb. So that was a double bill that I saw many, many times during school holidays in the 70s. My favourite, there is only really one, isn't there? It's got to be that one, Jason and the Argonauts. This is the one that I saw the last 15 minutes of at that time and wondered what the hell it is that I'd tuned into. Absolutely loved it. I've seen it many, many times. It never gets boring. Talos, the bronze statue, the skeletons, the harpies, Neptune, the god of the sea, all absolutely brilliant. For saying this was made in 1963, this must have cleaned up at the box office. It must have done. So yeah, as far as my favourite Harryhausen film goes, you'd be hard pressed to sort of beat that one. I'd also mention, as an honourable mention, probably Clash of the Titans, which I saw back in 1981 when it first came out. Again, never gets boring. You watch it now and it's hard to believe that it's actually sort of 45 years old, 43, 44 years old. I think it was 81. It just looks amazing. As for the remakes, I've not seen them. I bought them both on Blu-ray. I think it's Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. What they are like, I do not know. I don't think Jason was overly keen on them. I think he's seen them, but I don't think he liked them. I get the feeling they're going to be movies I'm going to watch and think, yeah, not bad, but I'm not going to watch them again. So they'll be winging their way to the RSPCA charity shop at some point soon. So yeah, Signal 1 had a brilliant sale in D-Tone. All of those 5 movies I picked up in that sale are going to be first time watches for me. The one I'm most looking forward to checking out is Next Stop Greenwich Village. I love New York cinema as well, Tone. In fact, here's a question. What's your favourite film set in New York City? Jason, Mark, Guy and pretty much everybody else will know what my favourite film set in New York is. And they're all going to be sitting there going, oh my God, he's going to do it again. I've got 2 that I could find. Bear in mind, by the way, that this was all knocked up at the last minute this morning. I was working yesterday. Normally on a Saturday, that's when I get all my notes sorted and all the bits and pieces sorted that I'm going to be showing off. Didn't have a chance to do it yesterday. So I've kind of thrown this together at the last minute. So if it does come across as a little bit sort of a bit of an hodgepodge and all over the place, do forgive me. I have 2 that I could find in the time I got, set in New York. This first one, I've seen it many, many times. Again, never get bored of it. A total masterpiece. Scorsese's Taxi Driver, starring Robert De Niro. This is the New York that I love to see. This is the New York of the 70s. The New York of Rhoda, of Taxi, of this, and a lot of other movies. Another one I'm going to be coming on to a bit later on, actually. This is just an amazing movie. If you've not seen it, and I'm fairly sure you will have done, this is definitely one to take in. The final 5 minutes literally takes your breath away. And I'm not surprised it caused a bit of a furore when it first came out, which would have been 1976. It caused quite a bit of problems, or quite a few problems with the censors back then, and I'm not surprised. But that is one of my favourites, set in New York. The other one, the guys will already know, so forgive me for singing the praises of this one more time. It won't be one more time because this is bound to come up again. It's not so much set in New York as Brooklyn, but as far as I'm concerned, it's New York. You knew this was coming, guys. You knew this was coming. Saturday Night Fever. One of my 2 or 3 favourite movies of all time. Again, never get bored of it. Brilliant soundtrack. John Travolta as the Disco King, just superb. As I've said before, everybody that's not seen this thinks it's some kind of a cutesy little disco movie. Far from it. This is raw stuff. And again, I believe this caused problems with the censors when it first came out in '77. It spawned a sequel in 1983 called Staying Alive, which was nothing compared to this. I still enjoy watching it, but I've seen this way more times than I've seen Staying Alive. You will notice that I do double dip a lot with movies. I've got about probably 3-4 different versions of this. And in, let's see, 2027, it will be the 50th anniversary of the film. So there will be stuff coming out, including Blu-rays. That's if we've not moved on from Blu-rays by then, and 4Ks that I will be buying again. So you will notice this, I do double dip an awful lot as far as Blu-rays and 4Ks go. But that would definitely, I would say that's my favourite film set in New York. I would throw that one back at you actually. What is your favourite movie set in New York City? There are probably more. I'd probably need to Google it and just have a look, and I'd probably look at the results and think, oh Christ, yeah, I've forgotten about that one. But yeah, they're my 2. What are yours? Just out of curiosity. Let's see, I wanted to take the time to say thanks once again, Tone, for kindly requesting me to do my book collection video on the channel. It's been great to do part 1 of this, and part 2 is on the way in the not too distant future. Take care, Tony, mate. Look forward to next Saturday's video. Thanks, Sam. Much appreciated. I love that book collection video, by the way, the first part. Where do you film these things? Because it looks, I'm guessing it's your back garden. It looked very blustery that day. You got a stack of books. The pages and the covers were blowing about all over the place. I thought that pile of books was going to blow over at one point. So it did look a tad windy that day, let's say. The books that you were showing off, let's see, you've got Kes. Now, let me just reach over it, just bear with me. I'll show you a couple of bits and pieces here. Kes, that's the version I've got. Now, can you see what's written on the front? CSE English. I borrowed this from school. We used to read this at school in English, and I always used to get the sweary bits. I never used to swear at school. Honestly, I think the teacher used to do it basically to take the piss. But he always, as soon as he must have known that there was a sweary bit coming, I was like, Aris, you read that bit. Oh God! And I'd normally get to it and go, I'm not saying that. And then somebody from beyond would say, Aris, just say it. We'll be here all bloody day otherwise. No, not saying that. So, but that's the version that I've got, and that will be well over 50 years old, well over, with obviously the picture from the film. So it was probably, this must be, I'm guessing, the 1969 or 70 version. Just bear with me. Hang on. Here we go. 1971. The latest date on here is 76, so I'm guessing that's that version. I've also obviously got the movie, The Masters of Cinema Blu-ray. Here goes. The dog's heard something next door. She does the. If she starts barking, do forgive me. As soon as she hears somebody moving about next door, she chucks her toys out of the pram and starts barking. Here we go. She's grumbling. What are you grizzling at? There's nobody there. So that's the version of Kes that I've got. I've also got, you might be interested in this. What? The soundtrack. I didn't even know there was one. I was looking for a certain book, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which you will want if you've not already got it. And this came up and I thought, you know what? I love the music from Kes. It's not very long. I believe the total running time is 19 minutes. But I tell you what, this is lovely to put on in the car first thing in the morning. It's just nice, easy listening stuff. If you've ever wondered what happened to the cast of Kes, because a lot of them were just amateur actors. They weren't professionals at all. I believe the only professional actor in Kes was Colin Welland, who played the English teacher. You need a copy of this. This is a brilliant book. Sam, if you've not got this, please grab this. Life After Kes. This will tell you everything you need to know about the cast, the crew, the making of the movie, and what happened to everybody after they left the set for the last time and the movie was released. You cannot go wrong with this. I'll just put the back there. I'll try and hold it still, so if you want to freeze frame it. But this is a lovely book. I don't think there's a very many. No, it's all text. But if you've not got it, this is highly recommended. I've sort of dipped into it. I've not read it cover to cover, but the bits I've read are absolutely fascinating. I'm a sucker for stories about, what happened to people after the fame and this, that, and the other. So yeah, Life After Kes. Grab a copy, mate. You will not be disappointed. What else we got here? Last Exit to Brooklyn. Same author as Requiem for a Dream. Now, if that book was anything like the film, that is going to be a bleak, depressing read. I'd not read Last Exits to Brooklyn, and I spotted this on Amazon, so I thought I'd grab it. $4.99, couldn't go wrong. I was intrigued by what you said about certain scenes where you didn't think they'd go there, and it's like, oh my God, you are going there. That piqued my interest, so I grabbed a copy of that. And at the same time, this appeared on the same page as you may be interested in, the Blu-ray of Last Exit to Brooklyn. So Jennifer Jason Leigh, I don't know who else is in this. Burt Young, Rocky's brother-in-law. Yes, I remember him. So I saw this a long time ago. I can't remember a single thing about it. But I'm fairly sure I'm going to enjoy that. But what I want to do, as I always do, is read the book first and then see how the movie compares with it. What else have we got? Clockwork Orange. That's my version. I've not read it, and I'll tell you for why. Because every time I've gone to read this, I get about 2 pages into it and think, I'm really not following this. I think it's the language used. So what I've done is I've also purchased a copy of the audiobook on Audible, and I can basically follow this along with that, and hopefully it will make more sense. I mean, I'm sure it's a cracking book. Once I get the hang of it, I'm fairly sure I'm going to think it's a classic. And obviously, I've got the movie. Again, I've got about 4 different versions of this. That's I don't know what this one is. Is it Masters of Cinema? I'm not sure, but you got badges and all sorts in that one. And I've also got this one, which is the 4K Ultra HD version, which inside obviously you've got the movie, and you've also got. I'll get them. Yeah, why not? Here we go. Just bear with me. Sometimes they come out easily, sometimes they don't. You've got sort of lots of little posters and art cards, that kind of thing. It's a lovely set, this. They came out on the same day, and I couldn't make my mind up which one I wanted, so I bought both. Little book. A poster, which I'm assuming is... They're even trying to do this. That's not too bad. There we go. That's the original poster artwork, and I believe that's the re-release poster artwork. That's that one. And also, if you like Clockwork Orange the book and you want to know more about the making of the movie, grab a copy of that. Clockwork Orange Controversies, basically detailing the making of it and the trouble it had with the censors. And believe me, this had a lot of trouble with the censors in 1971, alongside movies like Straw Dogs, Last Tango in Paris, let's see, The Devils. God, The Devils. So yeah, this is a cracking book. I've read this on and off, bits and pieces. Not many pictures in it, but there's a lot of detail on the problems that this had with the BBFC when it was first released in '71. So that's an interesting read. If you enjoyed the book of A Clockwork Orange, I think you owe it to yourself to grab a copy of that as well. Let's see what else is on here. The Shining. Never read the book. I've got it on Audible, and I will be listening to it before I watch the director's cut, which I believe is about 2.5 hours long. Lord of the Rings trilogy. There's a lot of love for Lord of the Rings on this group. There's also a lot of people who don't like it. I've got the box set, which I've not watched yet. and I will be taking it in. But there's a lot of people on the group who love these movies. Good night, Mr. Tom. I'm ashamed to say I've never watched it. I know it's on every Christmas like The Wizard of Oz, but I've never actually watched it. I have got it on VHS, bought it decades ago, and it's gathering dust upstairs, so I do need to drag that one down and take a look. As for the books of Lord of the Rings and Goodnight, Mr. Tom, I found Lord of the Rings a bit of a slog, but again, I would probably prefer to listen to it, so I will be grabbing a copy on Audible. Books Lost in Music, that looks fascinating. England's Dreaming, love books, etc., about the punk era and the Pistols. I used to be a big Pistols fan back then. So I will be grabbing a copy of that on paperback, and also it's available on Audible, so I can listen along to that. And Squeeze, the pop music played. Did you know Chris Difford has actually got a book out as well? Let's see, called Some Fantastic Place, My Life in and Out of Squeeze. So that might be one worth looking into. I get the feeling you probably already got that, or if you haven't, you've got it on your wish list. And you also mentioned Doctor Who Target books. My eyes sort of went boop, as soon as you mentioned that. I loved the old Doctor Who Target books. I've got a stack about that high upstairs that I collected when I was at school. So when you show your collection of Doctor Who Target books off, I will come back with my collection. Probably got about 10 or 15 of them, and they're all from the 70s. These are the originals, so I think you'll find those interesting. So thanks ever so much for that, Sam. Glad you've caught up with the videos, mate. Thanks ever so much for watching them. I'm going to take another quick break, and I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Right, before we carry on, let's just say a good morning to Maya, who is sitting just there. Right, Maya. Hello. Say hello to the camera. Let me just reposition myself. Bear with me. There we go. Right, on with comments. Guy. Lovely long vid, matey. Yes, I've noticed. And this one, if I can get this in under 90 minutes, I'll be lucky. I'll tell you now. I think it's a conspiracy from you lot. I think you're deliberately giving me monstrously long comments to keep me on here. Let's see. Okay, a Jaws remake can fuck right off. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts exactly, but not quite like that. It's... No, I can't. Oh no, I can't see it working. And how many shark movies have we had now? You know, the world has had ample opportunity to make a shark movie better than Jaws, and it's never happened. I'm not central, just bear with me. There you go. I really can't see it happening. I really can't. I mean, I'd watch it, but whether I'd make it through to the end or not, I don't know. We'll see. Tony challenges me. Ha, when your watch list is bigger than Trump's ego, you cheeky sod. Did I challenge you? Oh, that's it. Yes, I was talking about thinking of what to challenge you to, wasn't I? Yeah, maybe. I don't see any reason why not. I've accepted enough of your challenges, for God's sake. There is a documentary series about Star Trek on Prime you should watch called Centre Seat. You'd like it. You too, Callista. I believe I added this to my watch list probably about 3 weeks ago. I came across it by accident. I'm still not central. Bloody thing. There we go. And I thought, yes, that looks interesting. So I've kind of beaten you to the gate with that one. But thanks for pointing that one out to me, because I will be taking a look at that one. A remake I enjoyed was The Jackal. I didn't have high expectations, but I loved it. In fact, I think it's better than the original. What? Really? This is Bruce Willis, isn't it? I remember it being a decent film. I'm not sure I would class it as being better than the original Day of the Jackal with Edward Fox. Definitely not. But it was an okay film. So I think we're going to agree to disagree. Just bear with me a sec. I should have set this up before I bloody press start. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. I think I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Definitely. Maybe I need to watch the Bruce Willis version again. Maybe that's a double bill to sort of have a look at one night. The Jackal and the Day of the Jackal. But I'm fairly sure I would come out of that thinking, no, I was right. Films I hate. Oh my God. 1. Lord of the Rings, boring and way too long. Few people have said this. I don't know. I can't pass comment because I haven't seen them yet. 2. Harry Potter, shite. Piss off, you little cunt. Oh, seriously. One of the most successful franchises in the history of movies. And you've just pissed on it from a great height. Not to mention Lord of the Rings. Number 3, Fast and Furious franchise. Crap and keeps getting crapper. They're not our kind of film, are they, Guy? You know what I mean? We're not petrol heads for one. So we're not going to get what we're supposed to get out of it. I'm fairly sure of it. I've seen the first one and thought it was okay. But at the end of the day, it was just a lot of loud cars, loud music, birds wearing next to nothing. And that's pretty much it. That was pretty much all there was to it. And there was a sort of a heist sort of storyline attached to it. I did buy the box set, as I've said, and I will take a look at them, but I'm fairly certain that I will only be watching them the once. Number 4, Dr. Zhivago, Yawn. How did you come across that one? Is this something that your mum put you through by any chance? Like she put me through The Sound of Music. The only thing is, the difference is The Sound of Music grew on me, and I love it now. Absolutely love it. But my reasons are very different, because if I watched it now, it would instantly remind me of my mum. So we've got different reasons for that. But I get the feeling that that is something that you would never normally have watched anyway. I'm fairly sure of that. And number 5, The Deer Hunter, overrated. What? I can see why you say that. It's a long film, it's a slow burner, and as such, it doesn't actually go anywhere. But I thought it was excellent. I loved it. Again, there was a lot of publicity surrounding it when it first came out in the late 70s, mostly to do with the Russian roulette game when they find themselves in Vietnam. And I think it was one of the first sort of blockbuster type movies that concentrated on the Vietnam War. So I think it hit a nerve with Americans, that's for sure. But I think the final few scenes in that are very, very powerful. So again, I've got to disappoint you on that one, Guy. I quite like The Deer Hunter. What I'm not liking is the fact that I'm not central again. So let's see. Tony, you can't remember Jason's car park vid. It was excellent, for fuck's sake. I remember it, but I can't remember it being an hour long. He's having trouble finding it. I had this same thing when I was trying to find my reaction video. You remember that reaction video that I did a while ago when you all challenged me to watch Freddy Got Fingered? And I did that. And everybody said it was probably the best video I'd ever put on the channel. And I went looking for it not too long back and couldn't find it. And Jason found it for me and sent me a link. So it's one I wouldn't mind watching again myself, actually, just to see what... I pretty much know because I was there, wasn't I? So Jason replied, "You've just reminded me he wanted me to tag him in the video, even though he has seen it." Yeah, I'd appreciate that if you do actually find it, Jay. Didn't like The Deer Hunter either, same as Apocalypse Now. Yeah, Apocalypse Now. Saw it when it first came out, loved it ever since. There are so many different cuts of this movie. I've just bought on 4K I don't know what they call it, it's the ultimate cut. I think it's nearly 3 hours, and that's one that I do need to watch. I've seen all the other cuts of the movie, really, really enjoyed it. The Deer Hunter, you know my views on that one now. So, The Secret Diary of Tony Harris, aged 13 3/4, more please. I'll do that. I'll maybe start it after Christmas. You know what, I might even start it next week. I'll pick up an entry at random, or I'll go through it in order, chronological order, so to speak. I don't think you'll find a lot of it very interesting at all, but the movie bits you might do. Basically the sort of stuff that I used to watch back then. And you put, "I may not have got you this week, but I will get you." This is referring to that Clockwork Orange remake with Tom Holland. You didn't get me with that one, but only because there were so many red flags stuck right in the middle of it that there was no way that was ever going to be for real. it'd be a brave director who would take on A Clockwork Orange. But again, never say never. You never know what's going to happen nowadays. I mean, the film itself is over 50 years old, so it is primed for a remake. I just don't know anybody that's got the balls to actually tackle it, but we shall see. Thanks for that, Guy. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. Callie, morning, Callie. How are you, sweetheart? It's Saturday. It's 11 a.m. That could only mean one thing. It's Tony time. A Jaws remake? No, just no. Yeah, I think this is going to be the general consensus of opinion on this one. I know there are a lot of movies out there where you would just read about a remake and think, no, please don't do it. But there's also a lot out there that you think, go on, give it a go, see what you can do with it. Jaws isn't one of them. Not for me, anyway. Wow, my comments up first. Couldn't have you thinking you've been forgotten like last week. Flexing in a mirror and kissing his biceps. That's cringe as fuck in my opinion. This is me joining the gym and seeing that geezer sort of doing that and kissing it. And that was the thing that made me just not want to be there anymore. So yeah, like you, honey, I need to get my YouTube viewing in order. I watch, like and comment on as many as I can, but between being a parent, running the YouTube and TT channels and working on my books, my free time is incredibly limited, but I will get around to it. I'm slowly getting there, as you will see in a minute. In fact, I'll show you now. Remember this? My movie review book. I've already put the first 5. Look at this. This book belongs to. It's like for a 13-year-old, isn't it? And there are my first wishlist titles. So it's coming together. And funny enough, writing it down inside that, it gives you more motivation to actually do it. And I've also downloaded the sleeve, so there'll be a post going up in a bit, basically saying that these are the first movies on my watch list that I'm going to be tackling. So hopefully that's going to be coming together very shortly. But I do get you on that one. More mainstream. Oh wait, it's Guy. You like that? And I have to agree with Guy. Star Trek the motion picture is as entertaining as watching paint dry. And no, Tony, we haven't done Star Trek yet. So you're not a fan of the motion picture either. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Is there anybody out there that is a fan of Star Trek the motion picture apart from Sam? Is he the only one that liked it? I get that it's slow, and I get there are a lot of meandering scenes of the Enterprise. Oh, no, forget it. Maybe it's just me. Oh, when it comes to challenging us, bring it on. Just don't mention the Sound of Music. Damn, that's the first one I was going to challenge you to, but I wouldn't put you through that, honestly. I think the challenging thing is basically just to take you a bit out of your comfort zone. It's not meant to basically challenge you to something that you're absolutely 100% not going to enjoy. Like me with overly violent films, there's no point, because half the time I will not do it. I'm dreading The Raid, to be honest, absolutely dreading that one. But I have bought it, so I'll feel a bit odd if I don't actually watch it. But I'm fairly sure I know exactly where that one's going to end up. So the Real Housewives shows, here we go again, should be used in place of water torture. I quite agree with you. Stuart was on about this last week, basically saying that Mamma Mia should be used as water torture, or as torture to get information out of people, which I kind of agree with on a certain level, but these most definitely. I mean, they'd only have to put this on for 30 minutes with me. I'd tell them everything. You know what I mean? They're just, they're a complete waste of space. They are just plastic-titted fucking nightmares, and I just can't be doing with anything. The second, the part that I actually saw a couple of weeks ago that I was subjected to, there was some kind of an argument that brewed up. I don't know what it was about because I wasn't listening, but they were just all screaming at each other. And I'm sorry, but if I was somebody on that set, I would have to say the next stupid cow that utters a word, I will shoot them right between the eyes. and that I think would shut them up. Hopefully, they're just horrible, vile human beings. They're an absolute waste of time and the worst possible example to girls of how to be. No, not going into that again. Oh, I'm like you, hon. I'm not normally a fan of remakes, but some are worth a watch. One remake that I do actually think is slightly better than the original is The Crazies. It took what the original did and just ramped it up to 11. So that's my challenge, Tony, for this week. Go watch the original and the remake of The Crazies and let us know what you thought. And oops, sorry. With that in mind, the original, which is going by the TV as soon as I've finished doing this, and the remake from 2010. So yes, I accept that challenge. I will be taking those in. I haven't forgotten about all the other challenges. I will get around to them. But those you specifically asked me for, so I will be taking those in. JK's not meant to know he's my hero. He does now because I fucking told him. Sorry, hun, saying Wrath of Khan is overrated is a joke I do. It's the best way to start an argument in a Trek group. Oh my God, you're one of those, are you? I do actually like that one along with First Contact. I knew it. I knew that must be a bluff. And I can imagine the effect that has when you go into a Trek forum and drop that one right in the middle of it. I can imagine. When it comes to going out for a walk, if you ever want some company, just drop me a message, son, and I'll happily join you. I may just take you up on that sometime if I'm ever in your neck of the woods. Yes, in one of the Fast and Furious movies, they actually turn a car into a spaceship. What the fuck? They turn it into a spaceship. I know it ended up in space. I didn't realise they'd actually turned it into a ship. I think that is the point at which I would say this is getting just a little bit silly now. I would find myself backing away from it. I assume this is Fast X, is it? Or going before that one. I will take them in at some point, but I'm in no hurry to do so. Basically because I know that they get stupider and stupider as they go on. And pretty much like watching The Real Housewives, as soon as I would walk in and see that on the TV, I would feel my IQ dropping. No, I cannot stand the sound of music or dirty dancing, as my sister would watch them on repeat, meaning that 5 years old me couldn't watch anything that I wanted to watch. Maybe it's a mild form of PTSD. Oh my God, sound of music and dirty dancing bringing on PTSD. I think a little over dramatic there, Callie, don't you think? So, Mark, what were your thoughts on Planet of the Apes? I think he's planning on sharing that when he starts his actual thread. If he's going to do it the way that I'm going to do it, I want to get 5 or 6 of them under my belt before I sort of publicise the first one, if I can help it, just to give me a bit of a head start. So I'm guessing that's what he's doing, Callie, on that one. But I want to know what he made of it as well. I pretty much know, or think I know, what he's going to make of it, but we shall see. Let's see. Yes, love the Phantasm franchise. Angus Scrim as the tall man is, in my opinion, in the same league as the likes of Freddy, Jason, and all the other classic horror icons. Absolutely, and I would not have thought of that if you hadn't have said that, but most definitely. Sinister as hell. Really, really sinister, but yeah, great films. I need those books. Where did you get them from? Amazon. They're all on Amazon, and they're not that expensive. I believe they were probably £15 or £16 each, something like that. But they're not overly expensive, or they weren't when I bought them about a year ago. But they are cracking books, Callie, and if you like the Phantasm franchise, you have to have them, definitely. Where are we? And my, that sphere is stunning. You are one lucky son of a bitch for owning that. I mean, I'd looked at it before on eBay and it was going for silly prices. I don't know what it's like now. Maybe it's calmed down a bit. But when Chris said that he wanted to send me something, I had no idea what it was. And when I opened that box, my jaw dropped and I thought, oh my God, he's actually sent me this. I think what it was, I complimented him. I think he did a video and it was in the background of one of his videos, and I happened to say to him, "That is a gorgeous looking item behind you. Is it what I think it is?" And he messaged me back and said, "Yes, it is. It's nice, isn't it?" 2 weeks later, I got it through the post, which I was well chuffed with. He just messaged me and said, "I want to send you something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is." So I sent him my address, and that turned up the following week. Couldn't have been happier. Absolutely beautiful thing. Thank you for the love, honey. More epic comments on an epic video. You keep making them and I'll keep watching them. I will keep making them if you keep watching them. Time to put my parent head on now, but I'll watch the last half hour later. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks very much, Callie. Much appreciated. Jason, morning, Jay. Here we go, folks. Number 1, challenge guy. He hates Kez. So have you seen this, mate, and thought it was shit, or you just don't like the look of it? Guy did actually reply, "I have seen Kez, it was shit and boring." A total classic, dumped on. Thanks, Kay. Thanks, Guy. Number 2, Real Housewives, Towie, Love Island. Hate the lot of them. Never seen a single minute of it, but looks shite. I absolutely 100% completely agree with you. They are complete and utter drivel. If there was one channel that I hate more than any channel, it's ITVB, because it is populated with reality TV. It's all it is. If you haven't got the Real Housewives, you've got Towie, or you've got Dinner for 10 or whatever it is, or 4 in a Bed or whatever the fuck. It's just nothing but reality TV. I absolutely loathe it. And when I walk in a room and he's watching, as soon as I see ITV logo in the top of the corner, I think, oh, fucking hell, I'm in for a good time with this. So yeah, you are missing absolutely nothing, and I'm only going on the sort of 20 minutes that I had to suffer the other week. 3, decent remake. Roadhouse shocked me as well. I went into it with the absolute lowest of expectations, being a bit of a fan of the original, loved it. And I came out of it thinking, do you know what, that was not bad. I don't know whether Guy's seen it yet. You were very much against it, Guy. I don't know whether you've watched it yet. But I would say take a look at it and see what you think. I think you might be surprised. Also, The Evil Dead in 2013. Yeah, I think we were talking about this one earlier. I found it a little bit too gnarly and a bit grisly. But I guess that's what it's supposed to be. It's a horror film. The problem isn't the film, it's me. So, number 4, I saw Dirty Dancing for the first time in 2008. I was surprised how much I liked it. Never seen it since, but will watch it again if the wife wanted to watch it. I love the music, so I bought the wife the ultimate soundtrack for Christmas. The soundtrack is amazing. And that final scene, nobody puts baby in a corner. My God, what a final scene to go out on. Absolutely loved it. Number 5, it's Jeff, not Bo, in King Kong. It wouldn't be Tony time if I didn't fuck it up somewhere on the line. I'd obviously got the wrong Bridges, hadn't I? So it's Jeff Bridges in the 76 remake of King Kong. So, number 6, Hangover is nothing like American Pie, but it's just fucking hilarious. It's grown men on a stag weekend. It will make you laugh. And with that in mind, I grabbed the trilogy on Blu-ray. There you go, all 3 of them. And I was quite impressed because the version I was looking at for the first one, when I was looking at buying them individually, was the extended cut. And that's included. So, and I've got obviously Hangover Part 2 and Hangover Part 3. So yes, I will be taking those in at some point. I've already added the original Hangover to the first watch list in that book that I showed you. That was one of them. So I do listen to you, I do. Number 7, When the Wind Blows. About 1986 is that? You're not far off, I think that is about right. Never felt the urge to pick it up off the video shelf. Maybe that's a challenge, not a challenge, what do you call it? A never seen for you then, if it ever turns up on one of the streaming services, that is. I'm not sure what you'd make of it. I'm completely blank on that one. It could go either way. But either way, I'd be curious to see what you think of it. Number 8, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won't be on Never Seen as it's too new a film. I realised this after and I edited the comment, but you were quick and read it out. Read it before I could edit it. So, not to worry. Like I said last week, you know, you either like a film or you don't. If you've seen it 4 times, and not got past the hour mark, I think it's fair to say that you're probably not going to enjoy it. So yeah, it's probably wise that you did leave that one. Number 9, I don't get the multiverse either. I think you have to know your shit. Comics, films, and TV series. Even if I watched all those and read the comics, I still wouldn't get it. I just watch the films and go with the flow, which is what I did with Spider-Man Far From Home. I could not wrap my head around the concept of the multiverse, and I can't be the only one that's too dim to get it. Well, you obviously, you're not dim, obviously, but it makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense at all. I do need to take in the last 2 Spider-Man movies, the animated ones, because the general opinion seems to be that I need to take those in. But I'm fairly sure I will come out of it saying, visually absolutely brilliant, stunning. The animation is amazing, but it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I'm fairly sure that is how I'm going to come out of those movies. But the multiverse thing, I will just avoid them because I know I'm not going to get them. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Amazing movie, absolutely brilliant. Didn't get it. Didn't get it at all. Great to watch, like you said. You know, you just take it in and enjoy it. But as for following this multiverse thing, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I really don't. Let's see. Number 10, we have the same book, the official Christmas charts since they began. I won't be writing them down. I'm just going to take a photo of the page. Probably the easiest way to do it, Jace. Looking forward to that, by the way. 11. These are all bullet points, by the way. Never saw The Shining TV series. Can't remember seeing one. But you do need to watch the sequel to The Shining, which is Doctor Sleep. I have watched the 3-hour version twice, and it's such a good film. It really is a proper sequel, and the guy they get to play Jack Torrance is uncanny. Now I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. It's either a 2-hour version you watch or the 3-hour version, but you may as well watch the 3-hour one. And again, with that in mind, that's the one I think that you're talking about, which is, I believe, has got both versions on it. Am I right? Limited edition includes director's cut. Yeah. So yes, I will be taking that in. But again, I do want to read the book or listen to the book first before I take that in, just to see how it basically compares. 12. Annoying ad. Tesco Club card. We know you have the power now. Fuck off. It does my head in as well. Again, because it's on literally every single ad break. But I'm afraid, as I said last week, my absolute single pet hate is definitely Lucasade. Bring the energy. No thanks. No, not for me. Number 14. I did see French Connection 2 just after the original. It was okay, but can't remember bugger all about it, so it can't have made that much of an impression there. I do need to watch that one as well. I would also like to take in the original again, so that would be a good double bill one afternoon. 15. Oh, air fryer book. For fuck's sake, you never opened the book. I didn't. I don't know why. Whenever I spot something air fryer related, I'll pick it up and buy it because I think I'm going to need it. But if I'd have read through half a dozen of the recipes, I'd have thought, you know what, I can't be arsed with this. This is not for people who, are limited for time. This is for people who've got half an hour to wander around a supermarket trying to find herbs and spices and this and that and the other. I just want something with, probably a maximum of 6 or 7 ingredients and stuff that I can pick up from anywhere, So, I mean, I'll have a proper read through it when I get the thing unpacked, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any recipes from that one summer. Let's see, the air fryer's still in its bastard box, so that doesn't surprise me. I bet you don't even use it this year. I bet you I do. It's going to happen, Jay. It's going to happen, I'll tell you now. 16. That's it. Great video as always. Don't panic about doing a video after work for next week. I'm sure we will all cope. I'm sure you will as well. As I say, the plan was not to bother this week. Well, not to bother, but I didn't think I'd have the time. But I got up fairly early this morning because I couldn't sleep well, or didn't sleep well. So I thought, you know what, I'll throw something together and surprise them. You're Never Seen It this week was Dolores Claiborne, which is based on a Stephen King movie. A big city reporter travels to a small town where her mother has been arrested for the murder of an elderly woman for whom she worked as a housekeeper. I think I read the book of this many, many years ago, long time ago. Can't remember what I thought of it though. Not really sure why I've never watched this before. Maybe I didn't like the sound of it, but I watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would definitely watch it again. Mark said never heard of it. Mark says that every week. Never heard of it. Don't know that one. Or nope, that's another one. I would like to watch the movie. I get the feeling again that I've seen the movie a long, long time ago, but I can't remember anything about it, anything at all. Is there something to do with a full moon in it? Am I right in that? That's. Am I confusing it with somebody else? But definitely looking forward to seeing what next week's Never Seen is, mate, and also looking forward to when Mark kicks his season off. I'll be doing mine. Hopefully, let's see. The first one will be within. Let me just see what movies I've written down in my book here. The the 5 or 6 that I've written down is Deadpool 2. So I could class that as a never seen because I haven't seen it. The Crazies from 1973. That's the one Callie wanted me to take a look at. The Hangover, the original, which you've obviously mentioned. The Outlaw Josie Wales, which was your never seen from probably 3-4 weeks ago. Wake in Fright, which is one that I want to start off my Australian season with. Might as well go in at the deep end. And Attack the Block, which is one that I've been lent, that I need to take a look at. And that could also be a never seen. So I could have sort of 3 or 4 never seens in the bag, hopefully by the end of next week or the week after. But they're the titles that I've written down in my book, and there will be a post going up about that a little later. I can't believe this is going on after 90 minutes. What are you guys doing to me? I'll come back with the final stretch in a few seconds. And we're back. Right into the home stretch, guys. Thank God. 90 minutes plus. Right, I think I've covered everybody's comments for this week. So I've got a few more bits to get through, but it shouldn't take too long. Shows I grew up with. If you were a child of the 70s and you took a day off school, in the afternoon you would be watching watching programs like Crown Court, Paint Along with Nancy. Do you remember that one? And also this one, Out of Town with Jack Hargreaves. This guy was like the old man of the country. He basically introduced us to the old country ways, the superstitions, the crafts from years gone by. This was lovely. He used to do the programme from what looked like a massive wooden shed full of tools and oldie worldy type farming equipment. It was just brilliant. I used to love this. Talking Pictures TV have just started, screening this probably a few weeks back, and I'm loving every minute of it. I grabbed this when Network was still in business. I'm hoping I can get the other volumes. I think there's another 2. But watching this instantly takes me back to school days when I was off ill, lying in bed with a bottle of Lucozade. Absolutely loved it. So Out of Town, that's this week's show that I grew up with. A movie that I watched yesterday very quickly, Deadpool. I saw this probably for the first time about 18 months ago. Didn't rate it at the time. Not sure why, whether I'd watched it on the wrong day, I don't know. I do remember everybody egging me on to watch it, and getting sort of half an hour into it and thinking, have I got the right film? Is this the one everybody's raving about? Because I don't get it. But I have to say, on second viewing, I've enjoyed it a lot more than I did. Here we go. She's off on one, chucking her toys out the pram. This is next door. Yeah, she's going out. She can actually open the door on her own, believe it or not. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot more the second time round than I did the first time. I'm looking forward to seeing Deadpool 2 in readiness for Deadpool and Wolverine. Or is it versus Wolverine? I can't remember. The new one, which I dare say will appear on Fox, on Disney Plus at some time this year. So, but yeah, I enjoyed this a lot more than I did the first time round. So result on that one. I'm going to come back to this one next week because I need to do a bit of research on it. You may remember this. I was showing this off probably 3-4 weeks ago. It's the 4K steelbook of Soldier Blue, and I was saying at the time I'm really hoping that they've not cut the movie. It turns out they have cut it, but the cuts are understandable, let's put it that way, but I need to do a bit more research on it, so I'll come back to that next week. That'll give me something else to talk about next week. I sorted out, Sam, you'll like this because you've just done your book collection. I sorted out 5 books that movies were based on, or books that were written based on movies. They're all quite old. You probably won't know the films, I don't know. First one, Slade in Flame. I really enjoyed this as a book. I loved the film, seen it 2 or 3 times. It's what Kermode called the Citizen Kane of pop movies, and I can see why. And it is just about a group of black country musicians who form a band, and it's their rise to stardom, up the charts, this kind of thing. It's basically Slade playing Slade. It's just a really good, gritty sort of musical biopic type thing, and the book is just as good, I thought. Next one, Witchfinder General. I love the movie of this. I've seen it hundreds of times, absolutely adore it. I tried reading the book probably about 6 months ago and didn't get past the first 3 pages. I don't know what it was, I just wasn't enjoying it that much, so I do need to get back into that and have another go at that, because the movie was actually based on that, I believe. Next one, Straw Dogs. This is the original novel upon which the movie was based. The original novel, I believe, is called, I don't think it's listed on here, but the original novel was called The Siege of Trenchard's Farm. The original author basically disassociated himself from the movie completely because there was too much mayhem going on compared to what was going on in the book. I've not read this yet, but I do intend on giving it a read, just basically to see how it compares with the movie, which I've seen many, many times. Same goes for this one, Soldier Blue. I've not tried reading this one yet. I do want to watch the 4K version of Soldier Blue, which I've just shown you, before I tackle this one again. But this is the novel upon which that movie was based. And finally, Midnight Express. Is it by Billy Hayes? Yes, it is, with William Hoffa. Again, I've not read this. I need to read it just to see whether it's as grim and as bleak as the movie was. The movie was absolutely brilliant, but a total shocker. I believe it would still retain its power if you watched it now, but I do want to give this a read, so I'm going to get this one down off the shelf and put it next to basically the book that I'm reading at the moment, which is, I think it's called Shadow of the Empire. It's one of the Star Wars books. So as soon as I've read that one, I'm going to be moving on to either this one or Last Exit to Brooklyn. So that's just 5 books based on movies. I'll show you some bits. Oh, this dog's doing my head in this morning. What are you grizzling at now? Go and see him off, whoever it is. First of all, some Blu-rays. Sam, thank you so much for introducing me to Signal 1. I'd never heard of them. But I went on there, and some of those items on sale, I thought, do or I don't I? Yes, I did. And I went for it in good style. You'll see what I mean when I show you this little lot. These are all the ones I bought from Signal 1. 62 quid. Later, I basically hit the stop button and thought, no more, but I'll take those. First one, Last Embrace, with Roy Scheider. I heard a podcast on this one a few weeks ago and thought, I really do need to see that one. Love Roy Scheider as an actor, thought he was brilliant in Jaws, superb in Marathon Man. I've heard he's excellent in Sorcerer. But I've not seen this one. I do remember it coming out at the pictures, but never went to see it. So that's one. This is one you recommended, Sam. Panic in Needle Park. This is another New York-based movie. I know very little about this apart from the fact that it's about a group of heroin addicts living in Needle Park, which is a part of New York. This was made, I believe, early 70s. Is it early? Yes, 1971. So this is the New York that I love, or the era of New York that I love. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one. Doc. I love movies based on the gunfight at the OK Corral, and this apparently is an alternative version of that, starring Stacey Keach, Faye Dunaway. I think that's it. I think they're the only people that you would actually know in this. Fairly sure of it. John Denver? Oh no. No, it's not John Denver. Got that completely wrong. So looking forward to taking a look at that one. This is another one that you got, Sam, and I watched the trailer to it and thought, that looks good. Five Corners. Don't know much about it, but it looks intriguing. So I'll let you know about that one when I've actually watched it. This is one that you were asking me about earlier on. Again, I watched the trailer to this. Saw that it basically set in New York. From when is this actually set? It doesn't say. I don't think it's the 70s, but you can definitely tell that it was filmed in 70s New York because it was made in 1976. Shelley Winters is in this. Who else? Anybody we know? Christopher Walken. Can't go wrong with that one. So when you've watched this one, Sam, let me know and I'll take a look at this and we can compare notes on that one. Sherlock Holmes in New York. I'm a sucker for a Sherlock Holmes movie, and I could not imagine for the life of me Roger Moore playing him. So I thought, £5, I'll find out. Let's see. Angels. Hard as They Come. I do normally love a good biker movie. I enjoyed The Wild One, all that kind of thing. So I thought this would be an interesting one to take in. Again, it was only a £5, so if I don't like it, I can give it away. The Trip. I've heard a lot about this one. This is Peter Fonda and it's all to do with LSD. I know very little else about it, but again, very reasonable price. I thought we'll give that a go, see what it's like. River's Edge. I think I saw this many years ago on VHS. If I remember right, it was in a bronze coloured big box, and I'm fairly sure I've seen this a long time ago, but I can't remember anything about it. And again, reasonable price. Give it a try. This is another one that you got, Sam. I've already seen this, but I do remember enjoying it an awful lot. The 7-Ups reminded me a bit of the French Connection, if I remember right. But I believe this is set in, is this New York? Yes, tough New York City. So that's another one that I could probably say I enjoyed it because it was set in New York. This one, I believe Scott got this quite a while ago and he said it was really good, so I thought we'll give that a go. Charles Bronson, Mr. Majestic. Again, know nothing about it. You can see where this is going, can't you? I was just basically hit it. Oh, buy it now, £5. And finally, one of my favourite old-time actors ever, Humphrey Bogart in The Enforcer. Again, know nothing about it, but I love a good Bogart movie, so I'm fairly sure that I'm going to enjoy that one. This wasn't from that is the end of my what's the company called again? Signal One buying spree. This is one that you guys mentioned last week. Can't remember who mentioned it, but I really do want to see this. Be Kind, Rewind. The idea of it, the sort of the synopsis, the plot of it just intrigued me completely. Watched the trailer, fell in love with it and thought, my God, I've got to see that. So looking forward to taking a look at that one. A book, which again heard a podcast with basically starring the author talking about this book, and I thought I really want that. A cut below, a celebration of B horror movies, 1950s to 1980s. My era, very much my era. There's odd bits of artwork in it. There's a very nice poster there of Kingdom of the Spiders. But apparently this is the book that tackles the movies that most of the other cult film books don't bother with. The Devil's Reign. Fear No Evil. This looks a beautiful, beautiful book. I'm going to enjoy flicking through this one. Evil Speak. What else we got? Is that the Manitou? That was a nasty film. That was horrible. And my usual assortment of magazines, which I may or may not get time to read. The latest issue of Sight and Sound, which has got an interview with David Lynch, review of a movie called Kneecap, Brian Eno, an article on him. The latest issue of Scream. Let's see, Hammer's The Curse of Frankenstein, Haunted Houses, revisiting the Amityville horror sequels. Let's see, The Creatures from Beyond the Grave turns 50. That's one of my favourite portmanteau movies. Looking forward to reading that. And the latest issue of Film Stories, which has got all sorts in it. Some massive 168 pages. That's a good magazine, that is. Oh guys, that is it. That's all I've got. I'm absolutely knackered. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed the content. I'll be back with you hopefully at the same time next week. Have a brilliant week, folks. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Like, subscribe, share, and all that sort of thing. And I'll be back with you again, as I say, same time next week. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Take care. Ta-da.